Om.
Guruji, can you hear me?
Yeah, of course, loud.
Yeah. So my videos just disappeared. I don't know what's going on. It's probably the weather here is really bad. Getting back to what we were talking about last time when I spoke to you on the phone in regards to my experience of inner peace and meditation, and we mentioned about possibly a past life, maybe as a tantric, which isn't really applicable in the same way as what we do here, because we're aiming more towards non-duality as opposed to different visions and stuff. So, what I was, if you can hear me okay, Guruji, what I was trying to say is if something you experience is beyond the mind, surely that's the self.
Repeat the last sentence.
So, if you experience something in Sadhan and it's beyond the mind, beyond the actual intellect and the mind itself, surely that's the self. Because if all there is the mind and the self, there's nothing else. Therefore, it must be the self.
I still didn't get unable to get your question.
Okay, so we spoke before about experience of inner peace in Sadhan, and I mentioned this inner peace was beyond the mind because I can see the mind moving, and it's beyond the mind. So if it's beyond the mind, all there is the mind and the self. Therefore, if it's not the mind, it must be the self. Is that not correct?
Yes, exactly. Firstly, you must understand this. Uh, Beyond mind, there are two more things you are missing out.
Mm-hmm.
One is intellect, another is egoism. You have to go beyond these two also. That is the issue. Okay, let me sum it up for the benefit of everyone here. At the core of every human being is the soul. At the core of every human being is the soul or the, what do you call, the divinity. Because there is no difference between the individual soul and the God. They both are same. So if that is the case, what is the issue here? The issue here is the soul, which is at the core of every human being. It is masked by 5 different layers.
Ah.
I'm talking in a very, very what do you call brief way manner.
Mm-hmm.
Out of these 5 layers, the first layer, the nature of the first layer is absolute bliss. Absolute. Can you visualize the experience of bliss?
Mm-hmm.
When what it means to be extremely blissful. You must have enjoyed it in day-to-day life.
Mm.
Sometimes you would have undergone through some kind of extreme happiness.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Sometimes, for a few moments, you must have undergone through extreme blissful moments, happiness.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that is the nature of the first layer. The soul is surrounded by that blissful nature. And after that, over that blissful nature is the next layer, second layer. Keep counting now. The second layer is what we calling it as intellect and the egoism, along with the data of the karmic data.
Ah. Mm-hmm.
2 layers are now formed. Come to the third layer. The third layer is your conscious mind.
Mm-hmm.
Along with the conscious mind, you have all 9 categories of human emotions. And also, you have the ability to exercise your free will. Then you have the 10 different sensors, 5 sense organs, your
Mm-hmm.
eyes, ear, nose, like that, 5 sensory organs.
Mm-hmm.
and 5 sensors to perceive the physical elements like
Mm.
solids, liquids, gases, fire, and ether.
Mm-hmm.
Without the sensors, how will you perceive them otherwise?
You wouldn't.
So, therefore, this is the third layer which is spun around the soul.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we have talked about first is the bliss, second is the intellect and the egoism, third is the mind with all its human emotions and all that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now, beyond that, we have there's something known as life force. That means the life force which is operating inside our body of flesh and blood. That force, which is a derivative of the mind again. Remember, the life force is a derivative of the mind, and that life force is making your lungs move,
Mm-hmm.
because of which you start breathing now.
Mm-hmm.
Just like the initial movement we have in a what do you call engine, that movement is manifesting in various other movements all over the body now. That initial movement of the life force that is causing your lungs to move, which we call it as life force, it is a derivative of the mind, firstly.
Mm-hmm.
Because of that initial movement of the life force, person is able to breathe now.
Understand.
That is now that initial motion is now getting translated into so many other movements inside the body now. It is just like your car with a combustion engine. You know that what happens when the petrol is entering the combustion chamber? You give
Mm-hmm.
the ignition,
Mm-hmm.
there is a spark, and the piston moves up and down,
Yeah.
and then the power is transmitted to all parts of the car.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's the same situation here also in the human body.
Well, Guruji, I was going to say that I was taught before that the ego is a product of mind, and
No,
the other aspects you described are products of mind.
no, ego is not the product of the mind. It is a different entity altogether. Firstly, now let me complete this thing. Now the life force is a derivative of the mind. Over the life force, it has now become gross nature,
Mm-hmm.
and it has transformed into your atomic mass and then the organic cellular mass,
Mm-hmm.
because of which you have your DNA, and then the organic cells have been manufactured. In case of inorganic matter, you have atoms and molecules and the 5 physical elements. In case of human beings or the other living creatures, you have the organic matter. That's the only difference. Inorganic matter and the organic matter. Atoms and molecules are same, whether it is organic or inorganic. At atomic level, they are same. And you go beyond the atomic level, the life force is same. You go beyond the life force, the mind is same.
Mm-hmm.
Psychic force is same. And you go beyond the mind, you have the intellect and the egoism. They are also same.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore, these are the 8 things. That is, you can say your intellect and egoism, which we call it as subconscious mind,
Mm-hmm.
your conscious mind, third thing, and the 5 physical elements. This is what is enveloping the soul now. Beyond this, I told you, in the first instance itself, I told you, the soul is surrounded by bliss, the first sheet.
Uh-huh.
So, now coming to your original question, what you asked me. What is that experience which you get when you go beyond your mind, conscious mind,
Yeah.
And beyond that is the intellect and the egoism. I told you there are two more things.
Mm.
That's what you get. That's what you call residual substratum of it. Just imagine yourself going into deep sleep.
Mm-hmm.
When you go into deep sleep, your mind is defunct.
Mm-hmm.
Your egoism is disintegrated.
Mm-hmm.
Your intellect is defunct.
Mm-hmm.
Upon waking up, David will say, Guruji, I had a nice sleep. Good morning.
I know what you mean. Yeah, I know what you
Now,
mean.
how the hell do you know that you had a nice, good sleep?
Exactly.
Who
How
was
would you know that?
who was the gentleman,
Uh,
the underlying character beneath Mr. David,
exactly. Yeah.
who,
Exactly.
who undergone the experience of a bliss here?
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. I understand what you're saying. Yeah.
Because, as we understand, Mr. David has gone off to sleep.
Uh-huh.
The mind of Mr. David has become defunct.
Uh-huh.
The intellect of Mr. David has become defunct. Now, Mr. David has got no ego hassles with his friends or his colleagues either, because Mr. David is fast asleep. So, who is that gentleman beyond Mr. David who early in the morning will now get up? He will say, Guruji, I had a
Yeah.
blissful sleep. Good morning.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
who is that gentleman who is experiencing that bliss?
Yeah. I see what you're
That's
saying. There's something going on there.
what you are actually.
Uh-huh.
You are
Uh-huh.
not Mr. David.
I see what you're saying. It goes deeper than what I think. It goes deeper than that. Okay.
Yeah,
I understand.
yeah. Because what is happening is next day morning, the moment Mr. David opens his eyes, the gentleman is immediately thinking, no, I am Mr. David. I'm living in Northern Ireland. That's why he immediately say, Good morning, Guruji. Mr. David is speaking because the soul is not concerned about Guruji now, actually. And you close your eyes in the night, Mr. David is dead.
Mm-hmm.
David is dead the moment David closes eyes. And the moment he opens his eyes next day morning, David is alive. So the person known as David is only like a ghost entity. He is not true.
Gotcha. Understand. Understand, Guruji.
Now you got your, I hope you got your answer now.
I think I'll go answer now.
Okay.